Hey there, today you're going to spend a fun day at Disneyland with me. I'm going to walk you start to finish to one day. We're heading out right now from the Grand Californian Hotel, which is one of the Disneyland properties. And there's a really quick exit right when you go out. So I'm going to show you how I get through security and then the rest of the day. So I just want to point out that I will have a new video soon on the Grand Floridian Hotel. I love staying at this property, but I've also stayed off-site at the Westin, which is not too far, but you can't beat that convenience. Within a matter of like 2 minutes, I was in the park from the hotel. So if you're a friend that is used to going to Disney World in Orlando, this is quite different when you come visit Disneyland because you can actually stay within 10 minutes walking from the park, which if you're familiar with Disney World, it's a bit more spread out. So I think that's definitely one of the perks. My family anyways will be able to pop up more easily during the day when we're staying so close, like if we want to use the pool to cool down, or if we need a little rest, or if you have a younger one and need to take a nap in the afternoon. It's so easy to get back and forth between staying at a Disneyland resort and going to one of the Disney parks when you're in Anaheim, California. Okay, and now you are welcome to skip ahead if you want to check out the rides that we did one day at Disneyland in this Disneyland vlog. I also am such a foodie. I have a food blog that's separate from Jenna Loves Magic. It's called Sip Bite Go, and there I talk a lot about food and recipes. So you're gonna see when I go to Disneyland, I am there to also experience the rides and the foods. There are plenty of treats. There are seasonal menu items to be had, so I'm going to show you everything I eat in a day at Disneyland as well. So this is from a September trip, right when it was starting to turn over to the Halloween season. If you don't know, it's kind of a bummer, but you had to have ordered Oogie Boogie Bash, the Halloween celebration tickets, a long time in advance, like the day they came out to get them, and unfortunately we were really sad we did not have them for this day. But what you see I'm passing here is that I'm taking in and stopping every 5 seconds or so to take a photo of the new Halloween window displays at downtown Disney. So that's what I'm walking through here. So just to go back a second, the Grand Californian Hotel that I came from has an entrance that plops you right into this downtown Disney. And the great thing is you already have gone through security, so then you just get to the front of the Disneyland park. So right here, I just want to point out that I'm going to pass by on the right hand side a favorite restaurant. Not all of the downtown Disney restaurants are open in the morning. You're better off grabbing something at your hotel or getting something right when you get into the park. But Earl of Sandwich, which you see here on the right, is a really good stop if you're going to make one for a breakfast bagel, a breakfast sandwich. They have pastries, they have muffins, and you can grab a coffee before heading into the park. So I just like to give you that tip. They have some in dining, like seat yourself type of thing. They have some outdoor patio dining, and you could always bring the food into the park if you get something. Now on this particular trip, I passed right by it because I was set on trying some new Halloween treats. You see the people who parked or are coming from other Disneyland resorts take the monorail to this section, but one of the benefits of staying at the Grand Californian Hotel is that you are about 5 to 8 minutes walking, depending on how many stops you take for photos. If you're me, it's going to be a lot, but to this area is only 5 to 8 minutes, I'd say. On the left side, I want to point out here is Disneyland Park, which is one of the two parks. And on the right side, which you're going to see in a moment, there's another park called California Adventure Park. Both of these are Disneyland parks, in case you haven't been before. It's a little confusing, I think, because one of them's named Disneyland, but then also you're talking about Disneyland resorts when you're talking about the whole thing. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out. There are two separate parks, and this is the entrance to both of them. The entrance is right one across from the other. So here I was going to Disneyland Park, which is where I'm going to show you on this Disney vlog. But you're going to see, I'm just going to show you, I had to take a photo of the entrance to California Adventure because it was newly decorated for Halloween. So if you want to know some fun Halloween things to do at Disneyland, don't forget to head over to jennalovesmagic.com. I have a few write-ups for you there. You'll see the post under the Disneyland tab. So California Adventure Park is awesome. We love so many things about it, and it's actually even faster to walk and get in there from the Grand Californian Hotel. So I'm going to show you another Disneyland vlog on another day, so stay tuned for that. But today I want to redirect your attention back over to Disneyland Park, and I'm going to show getting through to the entrance. We had to go and give them our tickets and then head on into the park. All right, so greetings from the other side of the entrance to Disneyland. That was such an easy walk from the Grand Californian Hotel, and now I'm going to take you about our day. So the first thing that happens once you go inside and make it through that covered bridge area is actually, if you want to hustle over and get on a ride right away, you could see if the train up there is coming in soon, because that bridge is actually for the train ride. So that's a nice way to just hop on a ride right when you get in. But more likely than not, if you're like our family, you're either hungry or you want to head to a different destination in the park, maybe a ride that's not busy yet if you're there in the morning, but would be getting busy later in the day. So you go through this little area. I always love those movie posters from Disney films that are right there. It's really cool to see them. And I love them on the exit. It's a little bit nostalgic as you're leaving. Anyways, this area is called Main Street USA, and when you're in it, you're going to see there is so much going on. That's why I said you might even forget about the Disneyland train ride right when you get there, because right away we're seeing some of those old antique vehicles, which really helps you imagine what Disneyland was like when Walt Disney started it decades and decades ago. And just looking around, there are some food stands popping up, and there was already a character sighting on this particular day, which is a great way to start. So you want to get in line if you see these character sightings, because if you don't know, they do fill up really quick and people stop, and you can use your own camera to take photos or get a professional one, but sometimes the lines can get a little bit long. So here I'm just walking around the circle. For Halloween, since it was September, they put one of those big giant Mickey pumpkins up. You can take the photo from either angle, so you can take a photo of it with the castle in the background, or you can, hey Goofy, look, he was dressed for Halloween, or with the entrance to Disneyland in the background. It's kind of cool, you can do either. So here I'm heading down Main Street, and there are some breakfast stops along the way and places to get coffee. But those usually are so busy right on the main strip, because people are just kind of figuring out what they're doing for the day, and maybe they're waiting in lines because they don't know that you can pass through all that. So one thing you can do to make it super easy on yourself is get the Disneyland mobile app and pre-order from a place like Jolly Holiday Cafe, which I'm going to take you to right now. But that's one of my favorite places to go, because they usually have a lot of the seasonal bakery items, and Halloween time has some really great Halloween treats to try. So although I'm passing by all of these things and starting to smell coffee and want it, you'll see that I make my way towards the castle, and then on the left at the end of this street is where Jolly Holiday Bakery is. So I'm going to show you next what we got there to start our day. Fortunately, on this day, there wasn't a really heavy crowd that picked up yet, so my husband went and snagged a table, and I went inside with the kiddo, and we picked out some delicious things. So first up was this pumpkin puff. It was so good. I like some pumpkin things, but I don't need to have them, but that was outrageously delicious. This is the poison apple. It wasn't my favorite because it fell apart. They always have a macaron or macaroon. I don't know how you say it, but they're usually good if you like coconut. And then we picked up some other Halloween treats. That Mickey bat-shaped sugar cookie is so incredibly good and soft. All right, so we had our sugar rush for the day. I also got a coffee, a seasonal pumpkin style coffee. It was pretty good. And then we were heading to the castle to get some photos. Like I said, I run a blog called Jenna Loves Magic, and I'm also on Instagram, so I like to get some of the good shots. I'm kind of like an amateur photographer that's just been doing it for so long. I love photos. So anyways, you're gonna see right now, you can actually go inside the Disneyland castle, but there isn't a lot there. It's just a walk through. So I'm gonna show you what it's like to walk through it. And some people think it's funny because in person, it's not as large to some people. I think it's big, but it's not as large as it may seem. And there's not any sort of like public ride that you can do inside. It's really just something that you walk through to get to some of our favorite rides in Disneyland, actually. So this area is really good to enter if you're with little kids, especially because there are some rides that you're going to be able to hop right on. Now, I am a fan of Genie Plus, which is the current way Disneyland's mobile app will let you register for rides in advance. So there's an add-on to your ticket prices, which I understand. You know, some people want to do the add-on, some would rather wait in line. We're only there for a couple of days at a time usually. So to get it all in, I do like Genie Plus. So here we are going into one of the first rides, but I just want to point out here, if you look straight ahead, you can see a carousel, and this carousel usually does not have a line. Usually it's a 5, 10, I've never had a 15-minute wait, but it's usually a very short line. It's a really beautiful carousel. It's a great first ride to do if you have little kids and you're not trying to like book it over to a roller coaster or some other ride that would be in high demand. But look how fun. Like, it's just so beautiful in there. The music is good. You get to see a lot of the park and the castle while you're riding in it. Even adults get in on it, so don't be afraid to join in the fun if you're like us. Oh, there's my bud. So anyways, this is a good place to take a selfie if you're looking for a first selfie when you're in Disneyland Park. I'm sure I've shared that one on Instagram already. But again, this is just a really good first ride to do, to feel like you've gotten on something, to not wait long and ride, and a ride that's not going to be too much of a thriller or drops or anything if you're like us and your bellies are loaded up with coffee and pastries from the morning. So here are just some of those other views, and while you're riding on the carousel, you could basically pick out the next ride that you're going to go on. There are a lot in this little area, so I'm just going to leave you with this view for now, and I'll check back in a moment. All right, so after the carousel ride, it was time to head to Snow White's. This ride is a lot of fun. It's super easy. Like I said, this whole area of the park, they have a lot of super easy rides for kids that are also fun for kids and adults. In some of these videos, you'll see that my kiddo sometimes prefers to wear coverings on his ears because some of the rides can be a bit louder, and the fireworks later in the night, but this one wasn't bad at all. It's just like, you know, an old school Disneyland ride. I love these easy ones that you ride on. You know, everything is just so built out. It's kind of the old school rides where they were making a lot of the figures. I find that now a lot of the figures are these animatronics, which is also cool. I love how Walt Disney World and Disneyland have really embraced technology, but I think it's really neat to, you know, get into the history of the Disneyland rides, and this is an old one for sure. And also, if your kiddo likes this ride, which is good for all heights, they could also do some other rides that I'm going to show you that we did in the day. And some of these rides we do like 3 or 4 times in a row, depending on how long the line is. Not all of these rides have Genie Plus as an option, so that's just something that's good to know. But you can go on these rides. Usually, if you just keep checking your Disneyland app throughout the day, you'll be able to see these rides will often have 15 or 20 minute or less wait times. So that's good to know. And if you're curious, they actually give a card to a guest in line. So they go through the line, and that's how they know how long the line is. I have been chosen in the past to be this representative so they can tag how long a line is, and that's how they keep the app up to date. So next up on my Disneyland foodie adventure was the turkey leg. Now, like I said, we're also food bloggers at Sip Bite Go, so you can actually get some of my favorite turkey leg recipes there, but I always have to try a smoked turkey leg when I'm at Disneyland.
Amazing.
Yeah, it does it. It does it good. So I have to be completely honest that the first time I went to Disneyland in Anaheim, California was after I've had really good times at Disney World Orlando, and it took me until trying it again to really fall in love with Disneyland. But it does have a lot of really different things, and I love both different resorts equally now. They both hold special places in my heart, which means I have to go to Disney way even more often now because I need to go to both the Halloweens on the East and West Coast, both the Christmases. I'm just joking, but it is a dream of mine. So anyways, one of the cool things that is at Disneyland that is not at Disney World is this idea that you take this boat raft to the Pirates Lair. So this is kind of near Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Actually, that's like right across the street, or right across the like Disneyland Road in there. But anyways, you take this not even 5-minute raft seriously, and then you end up on this little pirate island, which is super cute. This was our first time being on it. It may have been closed last time, or actually last time my kiddo got an ear infection, so we really cut the trip short and just rested. But this time we made it to this island, which was so much fun. And I find Disneyland has even a little bit more physical activity. So if you have an active kiddo like we do, you know, it's really nice to have these playgrounds. And I'm going to show you more of them. There's also a Goofy area that has a ton of playgrounds at Disneyland Resort in California. So anyways, this is just a cute little island to walk around and peruse. Luckily, they do have restrooms here in case you need them while you're there. But they have a lot of interactive things. You can go climbing. You can get really good views of Disneyland from this island. That isn't a treehouse that you can go all the way up to the top or anything, but you can walk around it. It's just kind of like for decoration. Okay, there's one thing here that I'm going to show you coming up that is pretty interesting. You might get wet, but you don't have to go over it. It's a bridge that we found, and actually when we were there I felt so bad for this woman because she had a magic band, and the bridge, it's not this bridge.
Things moving.
I don't know what I'm doing here. It's not this bridge. It's actually another one that is built on like tires. So these bridges are fine. You aren't going to get wet or anything. But there is a bridge that's built on tires, and it's kind of like a little bit of an obstacle course. And anyways, this woman's magic band popped off while she was walking over the bridge. We saw, like, it was great actually. One of the Disneyland people that work there got their little gripper machine and was like, they did actually find her magic band, but she just kind of rolled her hand on the railing of this bridge that I'm going to show you, and it literally popped off. I have heard of that, and I also heard some other guests saying that they buy special closures for their magic bands, but hopefully Disney will address that soon because I couldn't believe, I mean, I saw it in real time. I didn't get it on video because I was so nervous about crossing the raft myself. But anyways, without further ado, here is the raft that I'm telling you about. Check this out. Now, my kiddo going across this doesn't really do it justice because he's about 40 pounds or less. So he's not really pushing down with the weight of his body. But when you're an adult going over it, or when there's like 10 people on this, as you can see, the bridge gets wet. It's not easy. It's not easy to do while you're holding a camera. It's not easy to do when you're holding hot coffee. And so this was kind of recipe for disaster, but luckily we kept our camera, and luckily that other woman, we didn't know until we got back on the raft back to mainland Disneyland that actually her magic band had been found. Now I don't know if it worked after that because it was probably underwater like 20 minutes. And I'm not actually they might be waterproof because maybe you could go in pools. I need to check that fact before you take me word for word for it. But anyways, I usually just end up using my phone. I put my Disney ticket in my wallet, and maybe one day I'll be a magic bander, but that's what I do for now. All right, so I think my kiddo went on this no less than 50 times during this one trip to the island. That was cool. I survived it. Here I am struggling to cross it.
Good job.
Let's go.
Where are the cocktails at the end? There you go. Look how nice and easy I go. I was thinking that there's some method to the madness where if you only stepped on certain planks, you wouldn't go under. Again, holding coffee was not a wise choice for this. But I have learned from past Disneyland trips that if I do not start drinking coffee in the morning, I mean, I'm used to drinking coffee before the sun comes up. But for some reason on Disney trips, I often forget to take coffee in right when the morning starts, and then I never find a coffee place, and then da-da-da-da-da. All of a sudden, I've had no caffeine all day, and I'm just going on like adrenaline and some morning pastry, which leads to a crash, let me tell you. All right, so here are just some more things to explore at the Pirate's Lair. Little caves. There is a really cool area that has these like round, I don't think they're called turntables. I'm going to show you in a second here. But it has these like round spinny things that kids can hang on. That was pretty cool to stumble upon. It kind of gave like that ninja vibe. And then there's all of these different areas to see. You're going to see some boats and ships going by. Those are actually rides you can do. I mean, even thinking about this, there's so much you can do at Disneyland that I didn't realize the first time to get a really long, fun day out of it. But I wish we had time for some of those boat rides. That canoe is actually a ride you can do. With a bunch of strangers pushing a canoe. So here are just some caves to check out. Still all in Pirate's Lair. Like, you can easily spend a half an hour in this section of Disneyland alone. It's really fun. It kind of reminds me of like Tom Sawyer area in Disney World's Magic Kingdom in Orlando. Super cute in here. All right, so here's that turn thing. I don't know what it's officially called, but if you have a climber or a hanger like we do, this was the place to be. And he's just kind of the perfect height for it. Some bigger kids saw him do it and tried, and just like, if you can't lift your knees up, you can't do it. So here's some lunch that we got nearby. Another one of those Mickey cookies, because my husband was jealous of the first one that we got. He was busy fasting. He like tries to hold his overnight fasting even when we're at Disneyland, and sometimes it works, but usually he just kind of caves in now. It's a trip anyways, you know? Okay, so this is one of my favorite rides at Disneyland. Good for all sizes. This is Casey's Train. And if you know the song, I love the song personally, but it kind of intertwines with this other boat ride that's below it. So you're gonna see, we also go on that boat ride too, but this Casey, we must have been on this like 3 times that day. At a minimum. Maybe we kept going more and more. I mean, the line was only like 10 minutes, and it feels so good to be on this little train. My kiddo was calling it jail because some of the train cars are kind of closed off like a little jail cell. But anyways, you just get these beautiful views. You see little neighborhoods below, like little fairy, they're kind of like fairy tale villages below from different stories and books. Even like Aladdin has one. But you can see that a little bit closer when you're on that boat ride below. But the Casey train track's really great. It's from Dumbo is the inspiration. So the train even goes, I think I can, and then goes fast. And like, you just get the song stuck in your head all day. And I love the song, so that's cool with me. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm going to have it in my head today as well. I know it. If you see that really big thing in the background, it's kind of like a mountain, but it's a Disneyland made mountain. That is a big roller coaster. Here we're going up the track, And whee! Now this ride is not a roller coaster at all. It goes a little bit fast, but I would say it's more like a breeze in your hair. It's not that adventurous. So I would not be concerned if you're not down with roller coasters. Aren't those little trees on the right so cute? I wish I could have a yard just full of those mini trees. I have no idea what they are. I bet this one ride has a ton of landscaping requirements because it is so cute and well pruned, and there are so many trees. I hope you go on this ride because it is just one of my favorite rides at Disneyland. We missed it in previous trips somehow. I don't know, there was just so much to do, getting a lay of the land. I'm a real big fan of not thinking of going to Disneyland or Disney World as a one-off thing, but as you'll see in our Disney vlogs, I think it's kind of a recurring thing where you can get to know different areas of the park. And if you've read anything about why or how Walt Disney started the parks, you'd know that it was with that intent that every time you visited there would be new things, there'd be kind of too much to see, and even going on the same ride might be a different experience. Alright, so you know how I said that the Casey Jr. train ride was kind of interwoven in the same area as this boat ride? Well, that's what we did next, which is a smart idea if the line is short. So this is a Storybook Land boat ride, and it is so cute. Alright, so you start by going in this whale's mouth, but I think it's like as easy as going in like It's a Small World or something. It's that easy of a boat ride, but it's super cute. It's outdoors once you get through this tunnel that is the whale. And you're just going to see your favorite storybooks and your favorite Disney characters and Disneylands. Even like Frozen is there, and Aladdin and other ones. So you're just going to be able to pick out all these tiny little, like this is like a kid's dream to have these sort of little houses set up, and it's just so great. So anyways, you'll feel like you're in a little fairy forest as you go through this ride. There are plenty of boats that leave around the same time, like it's constantly going through, so the line could get a little bit long, but once you're on it, you're in for a really like chill, relaxing boat ride. Luckily, this is another one that is good for kids because it doesn't have any sort of height requirement, easygoing, not a thrill ride. You just take in the beauty that is this section of Disneyland. Alright, so let's check out some of the areas we see. I believe this one's from Aladdin. How cute are these archways?
Come true. Like wishes, they inspire our stories here. Some are dreams of happily ever after, and some are dreams of drifting off to sleep on hills of golden flowers. Like the ones to our left, inspired with the 1933 Silly Symphony cartoon Lullaby, leaving behind her father and sisters in a home of Atlantica that you can see behind the waterfall to our left. Arms and fingers inside the boat at all times.
Going outside. There you go. Right, now push down. Yeah. There you go, buddy.
All right, well, those are the big things that we fit into this day of a Disneyland vlog, September trip. It was such a fun day. This was us just getting started though, so definitely check back Jenna Loves Magic. We'll be uploading new videos soon. Well, I hope you're having a blast planning whatever your next Disney vacation is. And until next time, have a great day. Bye.